you can apply for citizenship, and the process takes around 6 months to 1 year to get the passport. But you need to
Really?
live. Yes, but
Wow. So that's how fast it is? 6 months to 12
yes,
months?
yes, but
There's extreme buzz, and the buzz is about now being able to qualify using job salary, active salary. And you mentioned 1200 USD is sort of the threshold that people should show. I wanted to hear more about this. How does this work? Is it, I know the passive always existed, like rental income, dividend income, and that kind of stuff, but being able to qualify through job salary is something extreme. So if you can kind of give us some insights on this.
yeah. It qualifies perfect. If you work for a company abroad that pays you that amount, perfect, you qualify.
In terms of the proof to show this, does the pay stubs usually work that the employer is paying salary?
We just need.
Is it easy to open up a bank account once the residency is issued?
Yes,
Okay.
it's quite easy. Um, they require you Uruguay from scratch is permanent residency. We apply for permanent residency. There is no a minimum time to be in Uruguay. Yes, once you have the residency, come once every 3 years at least, uh, and that's it.
You know, a lot of people are obsessed on the channel with permanent. The moment you say temporary, they want permanent. They invest 500K. Let's say they buy a property of 500K in Uruguay, then they become a tax resident without physical presence?
No, it's 60 days plus
Plus.
500K, or leave just 6 months per year
Oh, I see. So
and no
6 months per
investment.
year automatically because they're physically living there for more than half the time, then they become a tax resident, or then a combination of 60 days and 500K in the country. And they pay zero taxes in Uruguay for the next 10 years. So, like a tax holiday.
Exact tax holiday. That was the word that I
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
say.
yeah,
Tax
yeah.
holidays. Exactly.
Wonderful. Because a lot of people, high net worth individuals, they exactly want that. They want to save on taxes because they're paying maybe $1 million, they're earning, maybe they're paying 300K in taxes. So why not just invest 500K? Pay no taxes. All right, let's get started. Our head of legal now for both Paraguay as well as Uruguay. And now there's some brand new updates and brand new changes. There's an express path to Paraguay, which not a lot of people are aware of. So I'm going to discuss that. She's going to give us insights. Before I get started, could you give us a brief introduction as to how long have you been serving? And what's the accuracy? What is the volumes that you manage? What are the numbers that we are talking here? So if you can walk us through a little bit.
Yeah, of course. I'm originally from Uruguay. I've been doing residency immigration process almost for 11 years now in Uruguay and Paraguay. We start first in Paraguay, and then after 2020, we start offering the service of residency process in Uruguay. We have on average around 40 clients per month. Today, I will say almost from a lot of nationalities. So yeah, we're very happy with our job. It's fantastic because you are all the time surrounded by different nationalities, people, and each person has a nice story to tell us.
I see. Wonderful. Wonderful. And in terms of the accuracy, is it 100%? Usually, once a person enters, let's say, Paraguay or Uruguay, usually they're successful in obtaining their residency cards.
Yes, and part of our job is before the client comes, is to check all the documents in advance. If the documents are correct, there is no reason why the residency will be rejected. So yes,
Wonderful.
99.9% of the time, 100% of the time, it works.
Yep, yep. Next, I wanted to kind of put forward a question that a lot of people have. They're like, "Hey, I'm creating these documents. It takes some effort to go get the police certificates, birth certificates, apostille, and all that kind of stuff. It's initially some effort that people have to put. So, can I actually do both Paraguay and Uruguay in the same time frame? Maybe it's a couple of trips. Obviously, once you're going to Paraguay, then you're traveling to Uruguay. Is it possible to combine the two options using the same set of documents?
Yes, it's possible. Actually, we suggest to start always with Uruguay because in Uruguay they don't keep the documents, but in Paraguay, yes, they do. So you come to Uruguay, we start the process in Uruguay, and then you can jump into Paraguay. And in Paraguay, yes, your documents will remain there.
Oh, I see. I see. So Paraguay would collect those documents, including the birth certificate. So if someone has an original birth certificate, they are going to retain that after they have been issued the residency card.
Yes, for that reason, we always suggest not to bring the original birth certificate, just to get a copy issued by the birth office or
Oh,
the governmental office that provides birth certificates,
mhm.
and that's it. So you keep your original document.
I see. You currently are physically in Uruguay. How frequently do you travel between the two countries?
I go to Paraguay around 1 week per month. Uh, Even though if I'm not there, my team works perfect. You have the experience, you were there, and I wasn't in Asuncion. I have a lovely team in Uruguay, sorry, in Paraguay and in Uruguay as well. So it doesn't depend just on
I
me
see.
if I'm there or not.
The entire team is established, and so for our clients it's a breeze because end-to-end experience. There are multiple people taking care of different things. Anything comes up, you're covered. A lot of people from, let's say, US and Canada, Australia, UK, Europe, and all the Western nations have an easier time. But when it comes to some of the third world nationalities, there's a little bit of a few extra questions that come into picture. I'm going to come to that later on. But before that, I wanted to break this down by a couple of segments. Once focus on Paraguay as a separate topic, and then focus on Uruguay as a separate one. Now, the explosive. Before we get into this, I really wanted to discuss about the explosive new update for Paraguay, which is super exciting. And I'm just hearing this in the last few seconds from you. And it is now for Paraguay, you don't have to travel twice in a single trip. You can actually wrap this up and the car can be mailed to you. Now, I put it in a very high level terms. Do you like to explain this a bit?
Yes, of course. We call it the express process, which will require the client to come through temporary residency and the national ID, which is called cedula. We do everything in that trip, and 90 days after, when both documents are ready, we deliver both documents. We mail both documents. So it's for a lot of people, it's a good option, save time, money, and everyone, a lot of people wants this express option.
I see. It's slightly cut off over there. So just to confirm, same trip, no second trip after 45 days to do the cedula and the tax ID. A person would simply combine all those things. The team in Paraguay would combine all those processes. And in terms of number of days, they have to set aside 3 days to manage this process. In those 3 days, they're going to get the card process completed, cedula, as well as the tax ID. And then later on, whenever the cards are issued, as you said, DHL back to the client.
Yes, actually, just one little thing. We will deliver temporary residency and cedula, and once the client receives the cedula and the temporary residency card, we will process the tax ID. We don't need the client to be in Paraguay to process tax ID, but yes,
Wow.
we need the cedula first.
I see. Because a lot of people actually get Paraguay for the tax opportunity. It's a territorial system. It has low taxes. So having the tax ID is always a good thing to have in case, in future they wanted to change this as their location. Okay, now let's start off with Uruguay first because this is so fresh. There's extreme buzz, and the buzz is about now being able to qualify using job salary, active salary. And you mentioned 1200 USD is sort of the threshold that people should show. I wanted to hear more about this. How does this work? Is it, I know the passive always existed, like rental income, dividend income, and that kind of stuff, but being able to qualify through job salary is something extreme. So if you can kind of give us some insights on this.
So Uruguay, what requires in order to get the residency is that you prove that you are more than $1,200 per month. That you can, with that money, you can live in Uruguay. Doesn't matter if that money you make it abroad, it's okay. Or for example, if you have a property that you rent and gives you 1,200, at least $1,200 per month, it's valid as well. It's perfect. Or if you have dividends from a company that you receive that amount of money more or less monthly, perfect. That's the only difficult or not requirement of Uruguay.
Okay.
Also, Uruguay, we talk about legal residency in Uruguay because get the tax residency is not that easy as Paraguay.
Okay.
tax residency in Uruguay, you need to live in the country 6 months or live 60 days and invest over $500,000. So that's for the tax residency. But legal residency, to have a Uruguayan cedula and be able to work in Uruguay and open bank accounts in Uruguay and like to have a be a resident of Uruguay, if you fulfill the $1,200 at least, plus criminal record, birth certificate, you will get it.
I see. You mentioned about the dividends. I understood that. But let's say I'm working for an employer. Let's say I have an online job, or maybe physically I'm going into the office and I'm earning per month of 1200 USD of income. Does that also qualify as is with pay stubs?
Yeah. It qualifies perfect. If you work for a company abroad that pays you that amount, perfect. You qualify.
Wonderful, wonderful. In terms of the proof to show this, does the pay stubs usually work that the employer is paying salary?
We just need a letter from your employer or a job
Yeah.
contract, yeah, or a letter from your employee saying that you earn more than this and what's your role in the company and when the company was created. A little some details about the company you work, uh, and that's it.
Okay, so a letter from the employer saying the salary, the job title, how long you've been working. Does it need to be that salary, $1,200 for a certain amount of time in the past? Or that's they're not going to look at that. As long as the letter says that they're getting 1,200 in future, that should be okay.
Nothing happens in the. It's like today you earn at least $1,200.
Okay,
That's it.
wonderful. Because almost everyone watching this channel earns that much money. So that's why people are super excited because not a lot of people knew about this option. This is a brand new service. Let's say, I want to start today. I have all my documents ready. You verify all the documents. How does it work after this? How many days and when do I come? What happens?
Okay. In Uruguay, we need you 3 working days as well.
Okay.
What is mandatory in Uruguay is to do a health check. It's for all Uruguayans, we have to do it. So it's a very basic health check that we have to do before migration. Nothing happens if you have your sugar blood is bad, or like if your results are not good. It's not, they don't discriminate because of that.
Mhm.
So we do a health check, and then the next day, we go to immigration. The interview is maybe takes around 20-30 minutes.
Mhm.
It's very basic. We present all the documents, and around 3-4 months later, and you can leave. And around 3-4 months later, your residency will come out.
Mhm.
Once the residency comes out, you should come to do your cedula.
Mhm.
Nothing happens if you come 1 year later, 2 years later. The important thing is that you come before the third year, because once you become legal resident of Uruguay, you need to enter in the country at least once every 3 years. So if you come before the year 3, it's perfect. We can do this cedula as a legal resident.
Okay. So cedula cannot happen on the same trip. It'll have to happen sometime later.
Yeah, no, we can do as well. There is a provisional cedula that we
Oh,
can do in the first trip.
okay.
After we go to migration, we can do that cedula. If the client wanted, we can do it. This cedula works just, for example, if you want to stay in the country and spend more than 3 months, you can use this cedula,
Mhm.
but it's not a document, for example, that will let you travel around Mercosur countries,
Mhm.
because on the back says residente en trámite, means like resident in process,
I see. I see.
once a residency, like you're in the middle.
Mm.
Once the residency comes out, yes, we do the final cedula that will say legal resident on the back.
Got it. And with that final cedula, will they be able to travel to other Mercosur countries, although they are not a citizen of Uruguay?
Yes, you can travel
Wow.
as far as your nationality don't need visa to
Okay.
travel to Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Chile. So if your nationality requires visa, you cannot use the cedula. But if you are from
Oh.
whatever, for a
So
country that don't need visa, you can use the cedula.
So
and travel
so the benefit is that without using the actual passport, you can use the cedula to travel without the passport if
without
your
passport.
passport has visa-free access to the whatever the nationality written on the cedula. If it has visa-free, then they let you enter. Wonderful.
Exactly. Just one acclaration that in other Mercosur country, which is almost all the countries of South America, you cannot stay more than 90 days. Even if you have Uruguayan residency or Paraguayan residency, you're always a tourist in another Mercosur country. So you can use the cedula, enter, but stay just 90 days.
I see. Okay. Okay. Slightly nuanced question, and again, really depends upon the border guards. But if someone has a U.S. visa and that U.S. visa has visa-free entry to, let's say, a Mercosur nation, would that work? Have using a nationality that does not have visa-free but has the U.S. visa, which lets them enter a Mercosur nation, then they use the cedula?
That's a good question that I should check. And in the
Yeah.
next conversation, I can tell you.
Sure, sure. Now, in terms of the documents for Uruguay, apart from this letter from the employer proving the monthly salary, what else is needed that needs to be ready before we can help them?
Good. It's required birth certificate with apostille,
Yeah.
criminal record with apostille from your home country, and where you lived the last 5 years for more than 6 months.
Okay. Yeah.
And third, tetanus vaccine. I don't know why, but we require tetanus vaccine.
Okay.
Those are the documents that we need to present at migration. And once the person is here, a medical check, the health check,
Mhm.
and the livelihood, the money that you earn
Yeah.
from abroad, and
Okay.
that's it.
Does that money that is earned abroad need to be transferred into a bank into Uruguay? No.
No, not at all.
Is it easy to open up a bank account once the residency is issued?
Yes,
No.
it's quite easy. They require your normally your last tax declaration from last year
Hmm.
or a couple of years ago, and they want to see at least a little bit your profile. Okay, what do you do for living? For example, if your tax filings are for, I say any number, $10,000, then you cannot bring into Uruguay $1 million. Like there has to be like a correlation
Yeah.
between the money that you make
Hmm.
and the money that you want to bring to the
Right.
country.
Got
But banks in Uruguay are really friendly. The people that works in banks are really friendly and want to help clients. So yeah,
it.
Uruguayan banking is a good option.
Awesome. And regarding the medical checkup inside Uruguay, the team is able to help with all of that. So in those 3 days, everything is taken care of with the client.
Yeah, yeah, of course. We go with the client to the health check place, and then to migration, of course.
Wonderful. Now, in terms of the family inclusion, parents, children, spouses are included. And is children under 18, they need to be under 18 to qualify?
Okay, that's a little tricky thing because in Uruguay, the school is mandatory. So if you're less than 18 years old, you should be enrolled at Uruguayan school,
Mm,
which a lot of clients, the clients live abroad and they are not enrolled.
mm,
So I always recommend that if the kids are less than between 4 and 17 years old,
mm.
don't do the process.
Okay.
Just parents do the process.
Mm,
And let's say, for example, in pandemia, that when all the countries were closed, if the parents had residency, the kids under 18 could come with the parents,
oh, I
even
see.
though the kids didn't have residency. So let's say the parents need to come and the kids they don't have residency, no problem.
Oh,
They need to come. I hope we don't have any pandemia soon, but if this is the case, uh, the kids are good. But I
okay.
suggest to do just for adults or babies because babies are not. It's not mandatory to go to school,
Hmm.
um, and avoid the between 4 and 18 years old.
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
Avoid that.
Got it. And then if the child is, let's say, 21, can they still qualify as a dependent of the main applicant?
No,
No.
no.
Okay.
Once you're 18,
Mm.
you need to have like your own
Oh,
salary or
salary.
proof.
Because they are
Yeah,
adults. Yeah.
financial proof.
Okay. How about parents? Can parents be included? Let's say 55, 65. No.
No, it's
Okay.
always each person is independent, each
Okay.
file.
Got it.
And each applicant needs to come to the country to do the process.
Got it. Now, regarding physical presence, now initially this residency is a temporary residency, and then after 2 years you convert this into permanent.
In Uruguay,
Yeah.
no, Uruguay from scratch is permanent residency. We apply for permanent residency. There is no a minimum time to be in Uruguay. Yes, once you have the residency, come once every 3 years at least, uh, and that's it.
A lot of people are obsessed on the channel with permanent. The moment you say temporary, they want permanent. So this is really huge. The actual name of the residency is permanent, so that's great. And then no physical presence. I mean, what else can you ask for? And as you said, once in 3 years entry, that's pretty standard. So this is really, people are going to really love this bit of information.
And a lot of people is coming to Uruguay, especially I will say a lot of it's more family oriented, but especially from Europe, they are. I always listen the word Plan B. They want Uruguay as a Plan B,
Yeah.
and they come and comes the grandpa and the son, and of course the babies, the under 18 no, but they come with the parents, but they don't do the process. But yeah, it's a lot of people is lately is coming to Uruguay.
Great. And usually, I mean, everyone is expected to brush up on some basic Spanish or at least start learning so that, obviously that's needed in any Latin country. But let's say someone is purely English speaking. Do you think they might be initially able to survive with just English in Uruguay?
Yeah. I won't say all the people speaks English, but
They should.
yeah, there is a lot of people that speaks English, so
Okay.
no problem. You survive.
Right. Now, kind of the most interesting topic out of this is, let's say someone wants to actually apply for citizenship. How long does it take in Uruguay to, graduate from this permanent residency? How long to keep it? How long to stay? And then physical presence needed for the citizenship.
Okay, if you come with kids under 18, after 3 years, you can apply for citizenship, and the process takes around 6 months to 1 year to get the passport. But you need to
Really?
leave. Yes, but
Wow. So that's how fast it is? 6 months to 12
yes,
months?
yes,
Great.
but
Okay.
you need to live in the country at least 181 days per year
Okay.
for 3 years.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's if you have minors under your with you. If you don't have minors, you need to stay 5 years, 181 days per year over 5 years.
Okay.
So if you are a family and you come with kids, perfect, and we do the residency for your kids as well, because they will, if you move here, kids as well, they will go to school, I guess, so they can start the process, and after 3 years they can apply for citizenship.
I see. So in case of a family, after 3 years, in case it's not a family, then 5 years.
Exactly.
And then for the 5 years, do they still have to live 6 months each year for all the five, or they only live 6 months but each year for the last three?
No. For the
All the five. Okay.
5 years.
Okay. Now, if someone doesn't have a job and instead they have a business that they're doing and they're employed for that business, meaning they're the business owner, can they issue themselves a letter from that business, a registered business, that they're getting the $1,200 per month?
In that case, because there is a conflict of interest with the letter, so in that case, if you have an accountant or an external auditor that can certify that information, that's it.
Okay, so have someone else like a CPA for that business certify that information for them. So
Exactly.
their letterhead would mean more than simply issuing yourself a letter through that business.
Yeah, no, it's not like a swarm. It's like
Yeah,
a third person.
yeah.
Um,
Okay, perfect. So that is clear. Uruguay allows dual citizenship. So let's say someone from the US or Canada, they can actually naturalize and then hold two passports
yeah,
for
yeah,
naturalized
no
people.
problem.
Okay, no problem with that. How does taxes in Uruguay work?
If you get tax residency in Uruguay, Uruguay gives you a 10 years tax-free heaven or tax-free, I can't remember the word in English, but for 10 years, you don't pay taxes in Uruguay. If you have fiscal residency here, so to get it, either you live 60 days and invest 500,000, or you live 181 days per year.
They invest 500K. Let's say they buy a property of 500K in Uruguay, then they become a tax resident without physical presence?
No, it's 60 days plus
Plus.
500K or live just 6 months per year
Oh, I see. So
and no
six
income.
months per year automatically because they're physically living there for more than half the time, then they become a tax resident, or then a combination of 60 days and 500K in the country. And they pay zero taxes in Uruguay for the next 10 years. So like a tax holiday.
Exact tax holiday. That was the word that I
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
say.
yeah,
Tax
yeah.
holidays. Exactly.
Wonderful. Because a lot of people, high net worth individuals, they exactly want that. They want to save on taxes because they're paying maybe $1 million, they're earning, maybe they're paying 300K in taxes. So why not just invest 500K, pay no taxes, and switch the jurisdiction legally? But again, it's more complicated because there's home country tax system to exit, and then Uruguay, would be a
Yeah,
complete
you have to check
setup.
if there are agreements
Yeah.
between both
Wonderful.
countries.
Thank you so much. That was so insightful. This is explosive stuff. Believe me, people are anticipating and waiting for this to come out. So, yeah, wonderful. Thank you so
Well,
much.
it's my pleasure.